going past. There's an aeroplane going past at the moment. Anyway, yes, the Casanovians. All right, this is a important live stream that I want to put together for you boys. I had a request for this. So there was a guy in the comments who, I think he's from Birmingham in the UK. I'll just close that window. Guy from Birmingham in the UK, and he asked a question on one of my other streams, which was, Christian, I love your content. I want to get started with daytime approach, but I'm really worried that I'm going to get a bad reputation in my home city, right? This is probably one of the biggest mental blockages that I see with the guys that I work with, right? So the guys that I work with, they are successful individuals. They have solid reputations in the city that they live. And they don't want that reputation to get ruined by being associated with being some low value pickup artist. Yeah. Or maybe if they're just starting off learning daytime approach, they don't want to run the risk of having awkward approaches or having women whispering behind their backs like, oh, this guy, he came over to me, it was really creepy, he asked for my number, and then word starts to spread. Maybe you don't want to be seen being rejected in your city, right? So maybe you're in the position that I was in 2020, which is, you want to get started with daytime approach and you want to do daytime approach, but you almost don't want to be seen doing it, right? So by the end of this live stream, I'm just going to give you a battle tested blueprint for overcoming this pretty normal fear. So you can go out, you can day game with delight without worrying in the back of your mind, shit, am I going to get a bad reputation for myself? Because the most important thing that I've realized after coaching over 200 guys, like taking them from complete beginners, lots of anxiety, lots of self-limiting beliefs, not thinking that this was something that they could do, or, oh, is this even possible for somebody like me? Literally taking them through the entire process where they're able to get dates on demand with wife-worthy women in as little as 90 days. What I've noticed is there is this conflict within all of us, and it's this conflict of identity. And this is going to become more important the more that I speak. But for now, just understand this, yeah? Within all of us, there is this conflict between the person who we've always been, the person who we want to be, and the person who we feel as though we should be, right? And when you see something like daytime approach, maybe you've watched my videos and it's inspired you to take action, which is awesome, you're going to feel this conflict, right? You're going to have this version of yourself who you're inspired to become. But then you're going to have those voices which are trying to claw you back into conformity. Oh, but this is weird. What if people start talking? What if my colleagues see me approach? What if my family see me approach? What if my friends see me approach? Because you are going to have a lot of awkward approaches, especially at the start. So what I would recommend, and this is just super practical that you can do, is have an immersion week in a city outside of your home city. Okay, so if you're living in a city with less than 2 million people and you've got a lot of anxiety right now, then I would suggest to you that you do what the majority of my clients do and have your immersion outside of the place that you live. Because what this is going to do, let's imagine, I'll take the guy from earlier. Imagine you're living in Birmingham in the UK right now. What I would suggest to you, if you were one of my clients, is have an immersion week in London, right? So literally have a week in London where nobody knows you. And because nobody knows you, you can surrender to anonymity, right? For those full 7 days, you can recreate yourself with every approach that you do. And this is what I love so much about daytime approach, because you can recreate yourself in a single approach. Yeah. And if you were going to have an immersion week outside of your home city, I'd suggest doing 15 a day, right? 15 direct approaches every single day. By the end of those 7 days, you've done 105 direct approaches. a lot of them are going to be awkward. A lot of them are going to be car crash conversations. You're probably going to be getting absolutely socially battered for the majority of the week, but that's okay, right? That's normal. I think a big part of what I want to do more on this channel, because I'm in London at the moment, I've been filming a shitload of content for you boys to hopefully enjoy. I had a big filming day today, so I was out in London approaching for 6 hours. And for the first hour of my session today, I was getting absolutely socially battered. Like my approaches weren't landing. I didn't feel as though I had a lot of conviction for whatever reason. I think it's because I had a big filming session yesterday, like another 6 hour day. So I had such a high adrenaline day yesterday that my energy felt a little bit flat today, if that makes sense. So I didn't feel as though I had a lot of conviction at the start of the day. My approaches were a little bit weak. Even the way I was presenting myself, I felt a little bit introverted, right? And this is normal. Yeah, I think if there's one thing that you take away from this stream, and it's one of those mantras which I always go back to because it was so true for me today, the way you start is not the way you finish, right? I've created this video today where I take you through like a day in the life of me approaching in London, and the day started off shit, right? I just couldn't get girls to stop. I didn't have a lot of conviction. My voice sounded weak with every approach that didn't go that well. Internally, that like child inside of me was kicking and screaming, being like, oh, you're not good enough. What are you doing? Oh, you call yourself a coach. You can't even get a stop. Like that mental chatter was loud inside. But I understand now, just because I've got a lot of skin in the game, I'm only ever one approach away from everything changing. And the way that I start is not the way that I finish. Now, the reason why I narrate this story is because if you're starting off at complete ground zero, your approaches are going to be shit at the start. And I would much rather you get your bad approaches, quote unquote, out of the way in a city where no one knows you, because it allows you to burn the boats. Yeah, so if you're in Birmingham right now, your approach anxiety, let's just call it that, it might be fueled by the fear of bumping into familiar faces. Yeah, you might be scared that, oh, wait, is that a girl who one of my friends knows? Is that one of my colleagues? Wait, do I know that girl? So if you have an immersion week outside of the city that you're currently in, it's going to allow you to recreate yourself in novelty. Okay, this is basically what Ephraim did when he worked with me. So Ephraim flew all the way from San Francisco to Warsaw, Poland to have his immersion. And what I think is so interesting about this is in San Francisco, Ephraim knew himself as a certain person, right? His friends knew him as a certain person. So oftentimes he felt as though his actions were fixed to an identity that he no longer wanted. So by him jumping on a plane, coming over to Warsaw, meeting up with me, like this random dude that he just watched on the internet. Like Ephraim watched maybe 2 or 3 videos of mine, and immediately he was like, I need this. I want to get associated with this guy. I want what he's got. And it was actually the rejection reels that moved the needle for Ephraim. Like he saw me putting out my rejection videos, not trying to present myself as perfect, but by showing to the world, yeah, I get rejected too. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm terrified. Some days I go out there and it's an absolute shit show. But the way you start isn't the way you finish, right? What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. So by Ephraim joining me in Warsaw, he was able to recreate himself in a new environment. And that meant when he went back to San Francisco, he felt like a new person. And I would say Ephraim's transformation really happened when he went back home, because Warsaw showed Ephraim like what was possible, right? It showed him what was possible for him. Because a lot of guys sometimes say, you know, does cold approach still work? You know, does cold approach still work in 2025? Is it still possible? Yes, of course it's still possible, but you need to adapt to the modern game. And it only works if you're not following outdated advice. This is why I don't subscribe to outdated pickup lingo and terminology and advice. Like, oh, dude, push pull vibe stack. Oh, you need to neg her more. Oh, has she hooked yet? For me now, what I've realized is this game is more about internal state. Like by the end of my filming session today, I was feeling electric. I was feeling like on godly frequency. And I feel like when I get into that state of godly frequency, it creates the removal of doubt in my mind. And in that state of removal of doubt, by taking lots and lots and lots of reps, I was just feeling like invincible. But super practical. If you're worried about getting a reputation in your home city, learn the skill outside of your home city and then return a new person. It's kind of like in Lord of the Rings where they leave the Shire, and then they go on the hero's journey and they return as new reformed men. It's kind of like that. The second thing that I would suggest, and this is more of a deep point, and I like to kind of go deep when talking about cold approach because it's not just cold approach. Do you know what I mean? Like this is the most aggressive form of self-development. It's the modern day rite of passage in a society that wants to keep you shackled as a spectator in your own life. Yeah, be a good boy. Don't go away from the status quo, work your 9 to 5, ask for permission when you're allowed to go for a shit. Cold approach is this 2 middle finger salute to a society that wants to keep you as a spectator in your own life. And the realization that I had the other day is cold approach is not for normal men. Like if guys want to have an ordinary life and date ordinary women and have an ordinary lifestyle doing ordinary things, then I don't think cold approach in 2025 is for you. I really see cold approach as being for the renegades, the rebels, the mavericks, the guys who refuse to conform, the guys who refuse to settle, the guys who want it all. That's what we're doing inside my private community, the Entourage. These are not normal individuals. These are not guys who just want to fuck around and get a few results here and there. These are guys who want to become elite at the skill. And after a while, it's not even about the women anymore. It's like you're learning the skill for the sake of learning the skill, just wanting to become elite, asking yourself, how far can I actually take this? What person can I actually become through cold approach? And that's what we're doing inside the Entourage. It's just awesome. I met up with a few of the Entourage guys today, and they were instrumental in today's session because I was feeling a little bit sluggish, like I had a bit of a shit first hour of the day. And I met up with one of our Entourage guys around Covent Garden, and I was with him for a couple of hours, just like shooting the shit, being playful, being silly. And he was just like pointing girls out to me to approach. And it was just like the ultimate state boost of like having like a wing there with me from the Entourage. It changed the entire day. So yeah, you know who you are. You were there with me in Covent Garden today, and you probably didn't realize how beneficial having you there actually was. But yeah, I love you, man. It was super useful. But the second point that I wanted to make was you can't be half a gangster, right? I've been listening to Tom Torero podcasts again recently. These were the podcasts that started it all for me back in 2020 when I was in that grossy apartment in Leeds. And he has this quote where he would always say on his podcasts, you can't be half a gangster. And I think that once you've had your immersion, I do think it's important to have your immersion outside of your home city because I think one of the biggest killers of growth is hesitation. So I think have your immersion outside of your home city, do 105 direct approaches just to blow off the cobwebs, to get that momentum, to show yourself that you can actually do it. But then after a while, and this is what happened to me anyway, the deeper you go, the deeper you start asking yourself more important questions. It's like, why do I actually care? Like, why am I choosing to settle in this city that I don't even like? Right, that's what it was to me. Like when I was living in Leeds and I was learning this skill, because I had that fear at the start as well. Like I was worried that I was going to bump into work colleagues. I was worried that I was going to bump into the same girl 3 or 4 times because it was during the pandemic and Leeds was not a big city. In fact, I did reapproach the same women quite often. I've got a video on my channel actually, which is how to approach or what to do when you approach the same girl twice or something like that. So like I had those fears. But then the more I exercised the skill and the more I improved myself, the more I started to look at my life as a whole and be like, why am I choosing to even be in this city? Why am I deciding not to have an international lifestyle? Like, why am I choosing to hang around with these people? Why am I choosing to commute to this job that I hate in a city that I despise? So the reason why I bring this up is you can't be half a gangster, right? Like, again, it's not for normal people. It's not for ordinary dudes. Cold Approach is for the rebels, the mavericks, the renegade action heroes. So I think if you're gonna go all in with Daytime Approach, then it's about looking at your life as a whole and being like, yeah, maybe I am playing it safe here. Maybe living in Leeds in this grotty apartment, I have no money. I look like a turnip. I've got erectile dysfunction. Like, why am I settling for this? Because that's what Cold Approach will do, right? Cold Approach will hold a mirror up to who you are as a man, and it will force you to look at the life that you're living, the women you're dating, the money that you're making, and it will force you to confront that. So even though I think it's understandable and it is normal not to want to have a reputation in a particular city, I do think, because this is the way that I see Cold Approach, it's not going out and picking up women, it's freedom from bullshit, right? It's overcoming all of the bullshit that has historically held you back. It's not a process of learning anything new, but relearning the things that you already know, right? Stripping back all of these layers of social conditioning so you can connect with your most authentic self. So you can't be half a gangster, right? The guys in the entourage know this best. Like, if you're going to join the entourage, if you're going to get mentored by me personally, if you want to start traveling the world with me, then you're not an ordinary person, right? And that's awesome. Like, I love that. You know, like, if I'm speaking your language right now and you're somebody and you're like, yeah, this guy gets it. I get what he's saying. I feel liberated when I Cold Approach. Day game feels like therapy. This feels like active medication when I'm going out there. It's like, I get it. You know, that's what it is for me. Like, I was going out today and it's like I wasn't chasing the women, but I was chasing a feeling. Like, I wanted to get myself into that state of godly frequency where I said, like, my cup was so full that all I wanted to do was give. You'll see it in the footage anyway. Hopefully that makes more sense. But yeah, you can't be half a gangster. Like, why do you care so much? Why don't you want people to know? It's actually not even a bad thing. Like, you can actually use reputation as a tool. Like, it doesn't have to be something that works against you. Like, you could easily get a reputation in your city as the giga player, the guy who just loves women, yeah, the womanizer, the guy who doesn't give a flying fuck. Like, we've got this kind of terminology in the entourage of the modern day Giuseppe, you know, like a random Italian dude who's just shameless with his sexuality. That's kind of the vibe that we're going for, just being shameless. You know, like, I think if there's one thing that I've learned, and this is kind of new, after working with guys, because I think I see, by the way, if I keep doing that, it's because of my hay fever is really bad at the moment, so soz. This is raw authenticity one-on-one. I'm super sweaty as well, actually. I should probably open a fucking window. Oh, that's better. Air. But when I coach my guys, it's like I see versions of myself in them. You know, so maybe if they're scared to go over to a girl because they're worried what people think, I'm like, oh, interesting. Yeah, I get that. That's how I used to feel as well. And I can almost like hold their hand through the entire process. That's why the guys, like, when they work with me, they get insane results. Like, I just launched a new program. So all of my in-person coaching is fully booked up now. I go to Bali this weekend. So I'm going to be coaching an immersion out there, which I'm really looking forward to. But I just launched a new 90-day online mentorship. Yeah, the fucking airplane's coming back. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to get mentored by me, join the entourage, literally just install what is working right now in 2025. Maybe you're lacking accountability, maybe you're lacking support, maybe you're fed up of consuming endless amounts of content that just makes you feel lost and confused. If you want no bullshit, individually tailored feedback on what you specifically need to do, then I'll put a link below in the description if you want to check it out. All the details are on there. There's testimonials. If you've got any questions, then feel free to just leave a comment below. But I'm really excited to do this because I understand, like, a lot of guys, they might not even necessarily need in-person coaching, but what they might need is just somebody to talk to about this stuff, like actually get specific advice on their unique situation. Yeah, because I think the thing with content is it's very general. Like, I'm kind of just like talking here, shooting the shit. I'm kind of talking to myself, to be honest. But hopefully what I'm saying is somewhat useful. But then when guys start, like when guys sign up to work with me and they get connected with the rest of our guys, they join the weekly calls, they get my private WhatsApp number. It's like they can get specific feedback on what they need to do based off of where they're at right now. And I would say this is probably the third point, which is permission through osmosis. Okay, so if you're worried about getting a reputation for yourself in your home city in 2025, the question that I would ask you is, do you have people in your life right now who can help you normalize daytime approach, right? Because you've probably heard you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? You've probably heard that. Well, that's actually bullshit. You're the average of the 5 people who you compare yourself to, right? So it might not necessarily be people you're with physically, but the brain can distinguish between people who they've met in real life and people who they've seen online. It's kind of like if you ever see a celebrity in real life, it feels as though you've known them, right? Or when guys first start working with me and we meet up for in-person coaching sessions, it's kind of like this weird moment where it's like, I feel as though I know you, but I've never met you before. It's kind of like a trippy moment. But permission through osmosis, like if you are comparing yourself to people who you would like to emulate, then what it's going to do is going to give you permission to live in a way you've always wanted to live, but have been too scared to try. Remember at the start of this stream, I said to you that within all of us, there is this conflict of identity. The person who we feel as though we should be, the person who we want to be, and the person who we've always been, right? So what I've noticed is when guys join the entourage, even like we've had guys who've joined the entourage, they've not even done any in-person coaching yet, but purely from the energy of the group, like purely from the wins that are being stacked, purely from the actions that guys are taking, just as soon as guys join the private WhatsApp group, they're already out. They're already approaching. Like we had one of our guys, Travis, 21 years old, moved from Dubai to London. He signed up and he hadn't even done any in-person coaching with me. But as soon as he got into the group, and we call this the entourage effect. It's kind of weird how it works. But I think when you invest money into your own self-improvement, like when you invest hard-earned capital into your own personal growth, now you're committed, now you're invested, and it's like, now I have to make it work, right? That's what I've always found to be true in my life. Like I've spent over $100,000 now in my own self-education. And I always used to be one of those people who was like, oh, why would I pay for anything? Oh, everything's a scam. Oh, why would you pay for coaching? You can do it all yourself. Like I used to be that guy, right? I literally used to be that pauper in my scarcity mindset with my £24.82 of universal credit, getting stressed out if I spent too much money on a bottle of Fanta. And now I get it, right? Because I understand now that people who pay attention, right? So when Travis joined, he dropped a good amount of cash. He went out, I think like 2 days after signing up. He met this Brazilian girl outside of Fulham train station. He went on a date with her a couple of days later, sealed the deal. And dude, this was literally a guy who knew nothing about daytime approach prior to this. And he'd already had his first magical experience with a woman who he'd met during the daytime in 2025, purely by signing up, right? So this permission through osmosis, like if you're watching my videos consistently, then that's an awesome start, because what's going to happen is it's going to change your perception of what you're allowed to do, right? Because I would say one of the biggest challenges that guys face, especially the guys who I work with, it's this lack of permission. It's this fear of, what if people judge me? What if I stand out? What if I rock the boat? And it's not until you've spent time with people or somebody who lives in accordance with their truth, it then becomes you, right? I've seen this happen time and time again with guys where they'll be doing a coaching session with me, or they'll come to one of our weekly calls, or they'll see a win in the WhatsApp group, and it'll change their perception of what's possible, right? They'll see one of our guys in the entourage who is in his 50s dating 25-year-olds, and for the rest of the guys, it's like, fuck, I need to pull my finger out my ass. This guy is in his 50s and he's dating 25-year-olds. Why can't I do that? Why not me? Because like, there's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about the guys in the entourage. I think all that separates us is we just take radical action. I think, to be fair, me and the guys in the entourage, I think we are kind of a little bit fucked in the head because there's not really any reason to be as extreme with this skill. But like my mentality is obsession is progression. Yeah, like if I'm going to do something, I want to be the best in the world at it. I don't just want to play 50-50. I don't just want to dabble. I want to dominate. And that's what we're building in the entourage. These are not guys who just want to get good at daytime approach. These are guys who want to become elites, right? Who want to have more worldly options than they know what to do with, who want to just do it all, dominate the world, travel the world, just fucking, yeah, just seize everything. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would say, if you're worried about getting a reputation in 2025, have your immersion week, 15 direct approaches every single day for a full 7 days. Ideally, record the audio of your conversations as well, so you know what you're shit at. The second thing was you can't be half a gangster, right? So at some point, you are going to have to own this identity. Oh, you're that guy who goes around talking to girls. Yeah. And what? Like pre-selection can kick in as well. But I do think like, having an international lifestyle, like being able to go wherever you want at the drop of a hat, I think that's awesome as well. I think, if you're living in a small town right now, like I'm from a small town of about 60,000 people. So you need volume, you need foot traffic. So again, it's going to hold a mirror up to your life. Like, where can you improve? Where can you expand? Why are you living in a small town? Oh, but Christian, I don't have the money right now. Yeah, but I didn't have the money when I started. I was broke as a joke. I was a complete fucking loser. I was on universal credit, for fuck's sake. So like, if I've been able to do something, then I promise you can do it as well. And then permission through osmosis, like find people who you resonate with, get access to them. Like a single connection can change your entire life. I've seen this time and time again. Like I went to Dubai last year. I went to a 3-day business mastermind. And like just meeting people in that room who are making millions of dollars a month. I'm like, fuck me, man. There's levels to this game. I feel like you don't actually realize where you're at until you compare. Because people give you this bullshit advice as well, like, oh, you shouldn't compare. You're on your own journey, bro. And it's like, yeah, I do get that. But like, I think for men, we are status-driven creatures, right? So like, we are going to compare. It's like going to a bodybuilding competition and saying to the guy in third place, oh, dude, don't compare your body to the guy who won. It's like, motherfucker, of course I'm going to, because that's how I'm going to win the title. It's by being better than everybody else. Yeah, so it's good to compare, but I would say be mindful of your mentors. Be mindful of the content that you're consuming. Become a connoisseur of content. Watch content that inspires you. Stop watching this toxic red pill shit. Oh, dude, it's all about looks, money, status, or going too far down the pickup rabbit hole, and then you sound like a fucking robot. Or to be fair, you probably won't even approach because your brain is so overloaded with information that you don't even know where to start. So if you are struggling with any of this stuff, then that's what I'm here for. That's what I do this as a full-time job. You can find out more information about coaching in the description. But just continue watching the videos. I hope that they're useful. If you've enjoyed this live stream, drop it a like. And yeah, more awesome content on its way to you boys. All right, love yous.